The great hall of Nexus Prime had never felt so heavy with fear. Admiral Zekthara stood at the center of the massive chamber, his scaled hands gripping the speaking platform so hard that his claws left marks in the metal. Around him, representatives from 12 different alien species filled the curved rows of seats. Some floated in special tanks filled with gas. Others needed special suits to breathe. All of them looked worried. 3 months ago, the humans had done something no one expected. After the Galactic Council destroyed their colony world called New Eden, everyone thought the humans would send thousands of ships to fight back. Humans were known for bringing huge fleets to every battle. They were famous for never giving up, even when they were losing badly. But only one ship came. The USS Liberty sat outside the station now, looking small and lonely against the stars. It was just a regular cruiser, the kind humans used for simple patrol missions. The ship had battle scars across its hull, showing it had been in many fights before. But it carried only 200 humans, led by a captain named Chait Martinez. "This makes no sense," whispered Counselor Vex High from the Thari delegation. Her insect-like head turned toward the other aliens near her. "Where is their great fleet? Where are the thousands of ships we expected?" The Vorthan Admiral raised one clawed hand for silence. "The human ship requested safe passage to speak with us. They say they carry humanity's final message." His voice carried across the hall through the translation devices everyone wore. "Some of you think this is funny. Some of you think the humans have given up." He paused and looked around the room. Many of the younger alien delegates were indeed smiling or making sounds that meant amusement in their languages. But the older ones, the ones who had studied human military history, sat very still and quiet. "I have been fighting wars for 300 years, Zekthara continued. "I have seen humans in battle many times before. They do not give up. They do not send one small ship when they mean to surrender. When humans do something that seems crazy, it usually means they have a plan we do not understand yet." A delegate from the Silicoid Collective made a grinding sound that meant disagreement. "Admiral, you give these mammals too much credit. They are primitive. They think with emotion instead of logic. This one ship proves they have finally learned they cannot win." "Then why?" asked an old voice from the back of the room. "Are they asking to speak instead of asking for mercy?" The question came from Elder Thune, the oldest member of the council. His species, the Zeridians, had been watching the galaxy for over 2,000 years. When Elder Thune spoke, even the proudest admirals listened. "The humans sent a message 3 days ago," Elder Thune continued, his ancient voice crackling through the translation system. "They did not ask for peace talks. They did not offer to surrender. They requested permission to deliver what they called humanity's final ultimatum. Those were their exact words." The hall fell silent. An ultimatum was what the strong gave to the weak, not the other way around. How could a single human ship give ultimatums to the combined might of the Galactic Council? Captain Martinez had been waiting in a small room near the main hall for 6 hours. He was a tall man with gray hair and deep lines around his eyes. He had been fighting in space for 25 years, and it showed in the way he carried himself. His uniform was clean but warm. Like everything else about the human military, these days out with him was Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a woman in her 40s with dark hair pulled back in a simple style. She was both the ship's chief scientist and their diplomat for this mission. She sat quietly, reading from a small electronic tablet, preparing for what might be the most important speech in human history. "Are you ready for this, Elena?" Captain Martinez asked. She looked up from her tablet. "As ready as anyone can be to threaten the entire galaxy." Her voice was calm, but her hands shook just slightly as she spoke. "The crew knows what we're doing here. They know enough. They know we're not coming home." She put the tablet away and stood up. Jake, are you sure about Thompson? About what we're asking him to do? Captain Martinez nodded slowly. Alex volunteered. He knew what it would cost him. They all did. He stood up as well, checking his sidearm out of old habit. The other ships are in position? All 12. Captain Johnson confirmed the Defiance reached the Kthari system yesterday. Captain Walsh has the Retribution at the Silicoid hub. The others are spread across the galaxy, just like we planned. Dr. Rodriguez took a deep breath. If this goes wrong, if they attack us ... then humanity dies, and the galaxy dies with us. Captain Martinez finished the thought. But our children, the ones in the hidden colonies, they'll survive. They'll inherit what's left. A soft chime sounded in the room. It was time. They walked together down the long corridor toward the main hall. Their footsteps echoed in the empty hallway. Behind them, Lieutenant Commander Alex Thompson followed silently. He was a young man, barely 30, with brown hair and kind eyes. But there was something different about him now, something that made other people uncomfortable. When they looked at him, Chu Long. Thompson had volunteered for the experimental program 6 weeks ago. The doctors had explained what would happen. To him, how the nanobiological agents would change his body at the cellular level. He had signed the papers anyway, knowing he would never be fully human again. Now he carried humanity's ultimate weapon inside his own body. The great doors to the council chamber opened with a deep, rumbling sound. Captain Martinez stepped through first, followed by Dr. Rodriguez and Lieutenant Commander Thompson. The 3 humans walked across the vast floor toward the speaking platform at the center of the room. Thousands of alien eyes watched them. Some of those eyes showed curiosity. Others showed contempt. A few showed the beginning of fear. Admiral Zeke-Thara's voice boomed across the chamber. The council recognizes the human delegation. Dr. Rodriguez, you may speak for your species. Elena Rodriguez stepped forward. She was so small compared to the massive aliens around her, but her voice carried clearly through the translation system. Thank you, Admiral, honored delegates of the Galactic Council. She paused and looked around the room, meeting the gaze of as many alien representatives as she could. We came with one ship, because one ship is all we need. The chamber erupted in sounds of anger and disbelief. Some delegates made threatening gestures. Others laughed at what they thought was human arrogance. Dr. Rodriguez waited for the noise to die down, then continued. For 3 months, you have been wondering where our great fleet is. You expected thousands of ships. You prepared for the largest space battle in galactic history. She smiled, but it was not a happy smile. We spent those 3 months building something much more effective than a fleet. She nodded to Lieutenant Commander Thompson, who stepped forward and placed his hand on a small table that had been prepared for the demonstration. We spent 3 months perfecting what we call the Pandora Protocol. We built the ultimate weapon, and we need only one ship to deliver it, because we are not here to fight you. Dr. Rodriguez's voice grew quiet, but somehow that made it more frightening. We are here to explain why you are going to surrender. A silence in the great hall was complete. Even the mechanical breathing sounds from the environmental suits had stopped as their wearers held their breath. Dr. Rodriguez stood calmly at the speaking platform, waiting for the weight of her words to settle on the assembled aliens. Admiral Zeke-Thara was the first to find his voice. Dr. Rodriguez, you stand before the combined military might of 12 species. Your entire race numbers less than 50 billion souls. What possible weapon could make you think you can threaten us? Elena smiled that same cold smile. Admiral, you are thinking like a soldier. You think about ships and weapons and armies. But we are not soldiers today. We are deliverers of extinction. She gestured to Lieutenant Commander Thompson, who who had remained standing beside the small demonstration table. 3 months ago, you destroyed New Eden. You killed 8 million humans, including children, because you wanted to show us our place in the galaxy. You thought fear would make us submit. Captain Martinez stepped forward. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his voice carried the weight of absolute certainty. You were wrong. Fear made us dangerous. Thompson placed both hands on the demonstration table. On the surface sat a small asteroid sample, about the size of a human fist. It was made of common rock and metal, the kind found in any star system. The alien delegates leaned forward to see what the humans were doing. Alex Thompson used to be a terraforming engineer, Dr. Rodriguez explained. He helped build New Eden. He planted the first trees in the colony's central park. He was there when the first human children were born on that world. Her voice grew harder. He was also there when your ships turned those children into radioactive ash. Thompson's hands began to glow with a soft, silver light. The asteroid sample started to change. Its surface became smooth, then liquid, then began to spread across the table like thick honey. The alien delegates watched in growing alarm as the substance continued to spread even after Thompson lifted his hands away. It moved slowly but steadily, converting the table's metal surface into more of the strange silver liquid. What you are seeing, Doctor, Rodriguez continued, is a nanobiological agent. We call it the hunger because that is what it does. It consumes matter at the molecular level and converts it into more of itself. Counselor Vex High from the Kthari delegation stood up quickly. Stop this demonstration immediately. That substance could contaminate the entire station. Thompson spoke for the first time, his voice eerily calm. The agent is programmed to stop after consuming exactly 1 kilogram of matter. It will die in 30 seconds. He looked directly at the insect-like alien. Unless I tell it not to. The spreading substance suddenly stopped moving. It sat on the table for a moment and began to smoke and dissolve. Within seconds, it was gone, leaving only a perfectly smooth hole in the metal table. The nanobiological agent lives inside Lieutenant Commander Thompson, Captain Martinez explained. It has bonded with his cellular structure. He can control it through direct neural interface. He can also release it at will. Dr. Rodriguez walked closer to the alien delegates. But Alex is not unique. Over the past 3 months, we have created 12 others like him. Each one carries the same agent. Each one is positioned at a different location in the galaxy. She activated a holographic display that showed the local star map. 12 red dots appeared at various points throughout Galactic Council space. The USS Defiance, carrying Lieutenant Sarah Kim, is currently in orbit around the Kthari homeworld. The USS Retribution, with Lieutenant Mark Chun aboard, is positioned near the Silicoid Manufacturing Hub at Kepler 442. The display zoomed in on each location as she spoke. The USS Vengeance is at the trade nexus of Helios Prime. The USS Resolute is at the Vorthan Military Academy. The USS Intrepid is near the Zeridian Historical Archives. Admiral Zektharas. Scales had turned a pale color that indicated extreme stress in his species. You are talking about biological warfare on a scale that would destroy entire star systems. That is genocide beyond any definition. Yes, Dr. Rodriguez replied simply. That is exactly what we are talking about. Captain Martinez activated another display. Each of our carriers can trigger a cascade reaction. The nanobiological agent will spread from planet to planet, consuming everything in its path. A single carrier can destroy an entire star system within 6 months. The horror of what they were hearing began to sink in among the alien delegates. The Ethereum Collective's crystalline representative made a sound like breaking glass, which was their expression of absolute terror. But here is the most important part, Dr. Rodriguez continued. The carriers are not just weapons. They are dead man switches. Lieutenant Commander Thompson stepped forward again. When he spoke, his voice had a strange quality to it, as if it was coming from somewhere far away. The nanobiological agent responds to human neural patterns. If any of us dies violently, if any of our ships is destroyed, if we are tortured or imprisoned, the agent will activate automatically. The silver glow appeared in Thompson's eyes as he spoke. We are no longer fully human. We have become something else, something that exists only to ensure that if humanity dies, the galaxy dies with us. Dr. Rodriguez let this information settle for a moment before continuing. There is one more element to our system. Each carrier must receive a specific shutdown code every 24 hours. This code is transmitted from Earth. If any carrier fails to receive the code for any reason, they will activate automatically. She looked around the room at the increasingly panicked alien faces. If you destroy Earth, all 13 carriers activate simultaneously. If you capture our ships, the carriers activate. If you try to remove the nanobiological agents surgically, the carriers activate. If you wait too long to make a decision, the carriers activate. Captain Martinez pulled up another display showing Earth's solar system. Our homeworld is currently surrounded by an automated defense grid. Any attempt to approach Earth without permission will trigger an immediate response. The carriers will activate, and your species will have approximately 6 months to prepare for extinction. Elder Thune's ancient voice crackled through the translation system. You are describing the end of all intelligent life in the galaxy. Your own species would die as well. Dr. Rodriguez nodded. Yes, Elder Thune. That is the point. We are offering you a choice that we have already made for ourselves. You can live with us as equals, or you can die with us as enemies. But you cannot live with us as your subjects. The chamber erupted in chaos. Some delegates shouted threats. Others demanded immediate military action. A few began making frantic communications with their home governments. Admiral Zeke Thara slammed his clawed fist on his platform, creating a sound like thunder. Silence, all of you, silence. When the noise died down, he looked directly at the human delegation. What are your terms? Dr. Rodriguez straightened her shoulders. Complete withdrawal from all human-claimed systems. Full reparations for the destruction of New Eden. Recognition of humanity as a sovereign power with equal status in the Galactic Council. She paused. And we want a permanent seat on the Council, with veto power over any decisions that affect human interests. Impossible, several delegates shouted at once. Captain Martinez stepped forward. You have 72 hours to accept our terms. After that, the carriers activate automatically. The choice is yours, but the timeline is ours. Lieutenant Commander Thompson's eyes glowed brighter. I can feel them, you know. The other carriers, they are waiting, just like I am. We are all ready to die for humanity's future. Dr. Rodriguez looked around the chamber one more time. 3 months ago, you thought you were teaching us a lesson about power. Today, we are teaching you a lesson about consequences. The class is now in session. The human delegation turned and walked toward the exit. Their footsteps echoed in the silent chamber as thousands of aliens watched them leave. Behind them, the first real panic in Galactic Council history was about to begin. The council chamber had become a storm of panic and rage. Admiral Zeke Thara watched helplessly as delegates from 12 species shouted at each other in dozens of languages. The translation systems overloaded with the chaos, creating a horrible mixture of mechanical voices and alien sounds. Order! The Admiral roared, his voice cutting through the noise. We will have order, or I will clear this chamber. Slowly, reluctantly, the delegates returned to their seats. But the fear remained in their eyes, in their postures, in the way. They kept looking toward the doors where the humans had exited. Counselor Vex High was the first to speak. Her insect-like head swiveled toward the other delegates. This is madness. No species would actually destroy the entire galaxy. It is a bluff. It has to be a bluff. Elder Thune's ancient voice whispered through the chamber. I have studied humans for 200 years. They do not bluff about matters of survival. When they are pushed to extinction, they become capable of anything. The crystalline representative of the Etherium Collective made a series of high-pitched sounds that translated as urgent calculation. The mathematics are simple. If even one of their carriers activates, the cascade effect will spread to multiple star systems. The economic damage alone would cripple galactic civilization. Economic damage? Admiral Zekthara's scales darkened with anger. They are talking about the death of trillions of beings, and you worry about economics? Admiral, came a new voice. From the back of the chamber, Commander Rexon of the Silicoid military stepped forward. He was a being made of living crystal and metal, one of the most experienced military minds in the galaxy. We need to discuss immediate countermeasures. Our fleet is already mobilized. We can reach the human ship positions within hours. Dr. Rodriguez had been listening to their discussions through the communication device she had left behind. Now her voice came through the chamber's speakers, making several delegates jump in surprise. Commander Rexon, I should probably explain. Something important. Alex, would you show them? Lieutenant Commander Thompson appeared on the main display screen. He was back aboard the USS Liberty, standing in what looked like the ship's medical bay. His eyes glowed with that strange silver light, and when he spoke, his voice had an even more distant quality than before. A nanobiological agent has been evolving inside me, Thompson said. It learns from my body, from my thoughts, from my experiences. It has become part of me, and I have become part of it. He held up his hand, and the viewers could see silver veins running under his skin like a second circulatory system. If my heart stops beating, if my brain stops thinking, if my body is damaged beyond repair, the agent will interpret this as an attack. It will release immediately. Dr. Rodriguez's voice continued the explanation. The agent has also been tailored specifically for each of your species. We have studied your biology for decades. The variant that Alex carries will consume silicon-based life forms like the silicoids. Lieutenant Kim carries a version designed for methane-breathing species like the Thari. The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Each carrier has a different variant. Captain Martinez's voice joined the conversation. Lieutenant Mark Chun's version targets crystalline matrix beings like the Etherium Collective. Lieutenant Lisa Hayes carries a variant that affects energy-based life forms like the Zephyrians. Commander Rexion's crystal body actually cracked slightly as he processed this information. You are saying that each carrier is designed to kill specific species. Not just kill, Thompson replied, his silver eyes seeming to look directly at each delegate. Convert. The nanobiological agent does not simply destroy organic or inorganic matter. It transforms it into more of itself. Your dead bodies will become part of the spreading agent. Dr. Rodriguez returned to the screen, standing beside Thompson. In the medical bay. But there is something else you need to understand. Something that makes your situation even more impossible. She gestured to another figure who stepped into view. It was Chief Engineer Sam Parker, a woman in her 50s, with gray hair and steady hands. She was carrying a tablet displaying complex diagrams. We have been monitoring your communications, Engineer Parker said. Every signal you send, every military order, every evacuation plan. We know you are preparing to attack our ships. We also know you are trying to contact the other human colonies to use them as hostages. Her expression remained completely neutral as she delivered news that shook the aliens to their core. The other human colonies do not exist where you think they do. For the past 5 years, we have been secretly relocating our population. The colony worlds you have on your maps are mostly empty now. Admiral Zekthara's claws scraped against his platform. What are you saying? Captain Martinez appeared on screen again. We are saying that humanity has been preparing for this war for much longer than you know. We expected you to eventually try to wipe us out, so we took precautions. Dr. Rodriguez activated a new star map. Instead of showing the known human colonies, it displayed dozens of red dots in unexplored regions of the galaxy. Our real colonies are here, in systems you have never visited, hidden bases with populations in the millions. They are completely self-sufficient and heavily defended. The colonies you destroyed over the years were mostly volunteer populations. Engineer Parker added quietly. People who stayed behind to maintain the illusion that humanity was still concentrated in known space. They knew they might die to protect the real colonies. The weight of this revelation settled over the alien delegates like a physical force. They had been fighting shadows while the real human population prepared for war. But here is the most important part, Dr. Rodriguez continued. If all 13 carriers activate, if the nanobiological agent spreads across the galaxy, those hidden colonies will survive. They are protected by technology you do not understand in regions of space you cannot reach. Lieutenant Commander Thompson stepped closer to the camera. The silver light in his eyes pulsed like a heartbeat. Humanity will continue. We will inherit what remains of the galaxy after the agent finishes its work. We will build new civilizations on the bones of the old ones. His voice became even more distant and cold. Some of us are willing to become monsters so that our children can remain human. Elder Thune's whisper seemed to come from everywhere at once. How long have you been planning this? Since the first time you told us we were too primitive to. Join the Galactic Council, Captain Martinez replied. Since the first time you treated human beings like animals to be managed rather than people to be respected. Every insult, every restriction, every colony you destroyed taught us that coexistence was impossible. Dr. Rodriguez looked directly into the camera. You created us. Every cruel decision, every act of genocide, every moment of casual contempt shaped us into what we are now. We are your children, Galactic Council. We learned from the best teachers. The medical bay around the humans suddenly filled with other crew members. They were all young, all human, all carrying the same silver light in their eyes that Thompson had. Wait, Admiral Zekthara said, his voice cracking with fear. There are not supposed to be others. You said 13 carriers. Dr. Rodriguez smiled, and for the first time, it looked genuinely happy. We said 13 ships, Admiral. We never said there was only one carrier per ship. Thompson gestured to the others around him. Every crew member on the USS Liberty has been modified. We are all carriers now. All 200 of us. The screen filled with similar images from other ships. Hundreds of humans, all showing the same silver-eyed transformation, all carrying the same nanobiological weapon. How many? Elder Thune whispered. Captain Martinez answered. Every human in our battle fleet. Nearly 3,000 carriers spread across 13 ships. Each one capable of destroying star systems. Each one ready to die for humanity's future. Dr. Rodriguez stepped closer to the camera one last time. You have 68 hours remaining. The choice is still yours. But remember what choice you are really making. The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in absolute silence. For the first time in galactic history, the most powerful beings in the galaxy realized they were completely helpless. The emergency session had been running for 36 hours straight. Admiral Zekthara looked around the council chamber and saw exhaustion in every alien face. Some delegates had collapsed from stress. Others paced frantically in their designated areas, A few had stopped responding to questions entirely, lost in their own thoughts about galactic extinction. 36 hours remaining until the human deadline. "Report," the Admiral commanded, his voice hoarse from continuous speaking. Commander Rexon stepped forward, his crystalline body showing new cracks from the strain. "Our combined fleets are in position around all 13 human ships. We have over 2,000 vessels ready to attack simultaneously. And the probability of success?" The silicoid commander was silent for a long moment. "Zero, Admiral. Even if we destroy all 13 ships instantly, the nanobiological agents will release automatically. Our attack would trigger the very extinction we are trying to prevent." Elder Thune spoke from his resting chamber, his ancient voice barely audible. "Have we received any response from the human colonies we discovered?" Counselor Vexhai answered, her insect-like head drooping with defeat. "The colonies we thought were hidden are real, but they are defended by technology we have never seen before. Our scout ships cannot even get close. Some kind of energy field destroys anything that approaches without permission." "What about the main human fleet? Surely they cannot have hidden thousands of ships." "They do not need thousands of ships," came a new voice. General Korthik from the Vorthan military entered the chamber, carrying a datapad with the latest intelligence reports. "Our spies have discovered something terrible." The general activated a holographic display showing a human shipyard in deep space. But this was not like any shipyard the aliens had ever seen. Instead of building traditional vessels, it was constructing something else entirely. The humans have been building what they call cedar ships, small, fast vessels designed to carry carriers to new star systems. Each ship holds only 5 humans, but all 5 are carriers. They can reach any system in the galaxy within weeks. Admiral Zekthara's scales turned completely white, the Vorthan equivalent of mortal terror. "How many of these cedar ships?" "We have identified at least 50. But intelligence suggests there may be hundreds more hidden throughout the galaxy." The implications hit the Council like a physical blow. Not only could humanity destroy the current galactic civilization, but they had the means to spread their weapon to any corner of the galaxy. "There is more," General Korthek continued grimly. "The humans have been infiltrating our societies for decades. We have discovered sleeper agents in our governments, our militaries, our research institutions. Some of them are also carriers." The chamber erupted in chaos again. Representatives began frantically contacting their home governments, demanding security sweeps for human infiltrators. "How many?" Elder Thune asked quietly. "We do not know. The humans have been very careful, but preliminary estimates suggest thousands of agents spread across all of our civilizations." Dr. Rodriguez's voice suddenly filled the chamber again through the communication system. "Good morning, honored delegates. I trust you have had time to consider our offer." Admiral Zekthara nearly fell from his platform. "Dr. Rodriguez, we are still discussing your terms. We need more time." "Time is the one thing we cannot give you, Admiral. 35 hours and 17 minutes remain." Captain Martinez's voice joined the conversation. "We have been monitoring your military preparations. Very impressive. 2,000 ships against our 13. Under normal circumstances, we would be honored by such attention. But these are not normal circumstances," added a new voice. Commander Lisa Hayes appeared on the main screen. She was aboard one of the other human ships, and like all the other carriers, her eyes glowed with silver light. "Commander Hayes is aboard the USS Defiance, currently orbiting the Kthari homeworld," Dr. Rodriguez explained. "Lisa, would you show our friends what you can see from your position?" The screen filled with an image of the Kthari homeworld, a beautiful planet with purple oceans and golden continents. Billions of insect-like beings lived on its surface, creating one of the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. Beautiful world, Commander Hayes said softly. My nanobiological agent is specifically designed for Kthari biology. If I release it here, every Kthari in the galaxy will be dead within 6 months. Not just on this world, but everywhere. Her voice remained calm and professional, as if she was discussing weather patterns. The agent will spread through your trade routes, your communication networks, your diplomatic missions. It will follow Kthari biology wherever it goes. Another screen activated, showing Lieutenant Mark Chun aboard the USS Retribution. The silicoid manufacturing hub is quite impressive, he said, looking out at a massive space station where crystal beings work to build the galaxy's most advanced technology. My variant is designed for silicon-based life forms, Chun continued. It will convert your manufacturing facilities into more of itself. Your technology will become the weapon that destroys you. One by one, carriers from all 13 ships appeared on screen. Each one calmly described how their specific variant would destroy the species they were positioned to eliminate. We are not monsters, Dr. Rodriguez said when the presentations were complete. We take no pleasure in this. But we are also not victims anymore. Lieutenant Commander Thompson appeared again, his silver eyes more prominent than before. The nanobiological agent has continued to evolve inside us. It learns from our experiences, our emotions, our fears. It has become angry, just like we have. His voice carried an alien quality now, as if something else was speaking through him. It wants to be released. It wants to spread. It wants to convert the galaxy into something new. We are the only thing holding it back. Engineer Parker joined. The transmission from the USS Liberty's bridge. The technical details are actually quite fascinating. The agent creates a quantum entanglement between all infected matter. Once released, it will communicate instantaneously across any distance. It will coordinate its spread to achieve maximum efficiency. She activated a simulation showing how the nanobiological agent would spread through the galaxy. Starting from 13 points, it expanded in waves, consuming star system after star system. The simulation showed complete galactic conversion within 18 months. But here is the beautiful part, Parker continued. The agent has been programmed to preserve certain locations. The hidden human colonies will become islands of life in a transformed galaxy. We will be the inheritors of everything you built. Admiral Zekthara found his voice. You are talking about genocide on a scale beyond imagination. How can you live? With yourselves? Captain Martinez appeared one more time. His weathered face showed no emotion, but his words carried the weight of absolute conviction. Admiral, you taught us that survival requires strength. You taught us that the weak deserve extinction. You taught us that morality is a luxury for species that can afford it. He leaned closer to the camera. We learned your lessons very well. Now we are teaching you. Dr. Rodriguez's voice became formal and official. The Galactic Council has 34 hours to accept humanity's terms. Complete withdrawal from human claimed systems. Full reparations for New Eden. Equal status in galactic governance. A permanent council seat with veto power. If these terms are not accepted by the deadline, all carriers will activate simultaneously. The choice remains yours. Lieutenant Commander Thompson's silver eyes pulsed brighter. I can feel them gathering, you know. The nanobiological agents in all of us. They are eager to begin their work. They dream of a galaxy where matter and energy dance to human will. His voice became a whisper that somehow filled the entire chamber. We have become gods of destruction, and we are tired of being merciful. The transmission ended. In the silence that followed, Elder Thune spoke one final time. In all my years, I have never seen a species transform itself so completely for war. They have stopped being human and become something else entirely. Admiral Zekthara looked around the chamber at the faces of beings who ruled the galaxy. For the first time in his life, he saw defeat in every one of them. 34 hours, he said quietly. May the ancestors forgive us for what we are about to do. 6 hours remained until the human deadline, when Admiral Zikthara called for the final vote. The great chamber of Nexus Prime had never felt so heavy with the weight of history. Representatives from 12 species sat in their designated areas, each knowing that their next decision would determine the fate of galactic civilization. The motion before us is simple, the Admiral announced, his voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. Do we accept humanity's terms and surrender our sovereignty, or do we face extinction with our dignity intact? Elder Thune spoke first, his ancient voice crackling through the translation system. I have lived for 3,000 years. I have seen species rise and fall. I have watched civilizations build wonders that lasted for millennia. He paused, and the chamber held its breath. I vote to live. The Zeridian delegation accepts human terms. A ripple of shock ran through the assembled delegates. Elder Thune was the most respected being in the galaxy, and his decision carried enormous weight. Counselor Vexhai rose from the Kthari section. Her insect-like head turned toward the other delegates before she spoke. The Kthari have always prided themselves on logical thinking. The mathematics are clear. If we fight, we all die. If we surrender, we live to see another day. Her voice carried pain and humiliation. The Kthari delegation accepts human terms. Commander Rexon of the Silicoids stood next. His crystalline body reflected the chamber's lights as he spoke. The Silicoid Collective has calculated all possible outcomes. Resistance equals extinction. Survival requires submission. The words seemed to crack his crystal structure as he spoke them. We accept human terms. One by one, the delegations voted. The Etherium Collective, the Vorthan Empire, the Zephyrian Hive Mind. Each vote for surrender felt like a nail in the coffin of galactic pride, but not all species chose survival. General Korthake of the Draconian Military Alliance slammed his armored fist on his platform. The Draconians have never surrendered to anyone. We will not bow to these hairless mammals, even if it means death. We vote for war. The Titanoid Federation agreed. Better to die as warriors than live as slaves, their representative growled. We vote for war. The Stellar Dominion, a proud species of energy beings, chose extinction over submission. We have ruled star systems for 10,000 years. We will not kneel to primitives. When all votes were counted, the result was clear but not unanimous. 9 species voted for surrender. 3 chose mutual destruction. Admiral Zikthara's scales had turned completely gray with exhaustion and defeat. The majority has spoken. By a vote of 9-3, the Galactic Council accepts humanity's terms. His voice broke slightly as he continued. May history forgive us. Dr. Rodriguez's voice filled the chamber immediately, as if she had been waiting for this exact moment. Thank you, Admiral. Captain Martinez will board your station within the hour to begin formal surrender proceedings. 3 hours later, Captain Jake Martinez stood at the same speaking platform where Dr. Rodriguez had delivered humanity's ultimatum. But now the positions were reversed. The alien delegates sat in defeat, while the human captain accepted their surrender. On behalf of the United Human Colonial Government, Martinez said formally, I accept the Galactic Council's surrender. Effective. Immediately, all human systems are recognized as sovereign territory. Reparations for New Eden will begin within 30 days. He looked around the chamber at the defeated alien faces. Humanity will take its seat on the Galactic Council tomorrow. Our first order of business will be establishing new protocols for interspecies relations. Dr. Rodriguez joined him at the platform. The carriers will remain at their positions indefinitely. Consider them humanity's insurance policy against future misunderstandings. Admiral Zekthara found the strength to ask one final question. What happens to the species that voted for war? The Draconians, the Titanoids, the Stellar Dominion. Captain Martinez exchanged a look with Dr. Rodriguez before answering. They made their choice. We respect that choice. The carriers positioned near their systems will activate in 72 hours, giving them time to evacuate any civilians who wish to live. The cold efficiency of the statement sent chills to the remaining delegates. Humanity was not just accepting surrender. They were following through on their threats against those who refused. 6 months later, Lieutenant Commander Alex Thompson sat in a specially designed chamber aboard a space station orbiting Jupiter. The nanobiological agent had continued to evolve within him, requiring constant medical monitoring to prevent accidental activation. His eyes now glowed continuously with silver light, and when he spoke, his voice carried harmonics that suggested something alien lived within him. Dr. Elena Rodriguez visited him every week. She was now Earth's permanent ambassador to the Galactic Council, but she never forgot the price that Thompson and the other carriers had paid for humanity's victory. "How are you feeling today, Alex?" she asked, settling into a chair across from his containment field. Thompson smiled, but it was not entirely human anymore. "I feel them, Elena. All the others. We are connected now in ways I cannot explain. The nanobiological agents have created a network between us." His silver eyes focused on something she could not see. "Sometimes I dream their dreams. I see the galaxy through 1,000 different viewpoints. I feel the hunger they carry, always waiting, always ready. Do you regret it? What you became?" Thompson considered the question for a long moment. "I remember planting the first tree in New Eden Central Park. I remember the children playing beneath it. I remember watching it burn when the aliens destroyed our world." His voice carried no emotion, as if he was describing someone else's memories. "What I am now is the price of ensuring that no human children will ever burn again." Dr. Rodriguez nodded sadly. The other carriers report similar experiences. "The transformation is progressing in all of you." "We are becoming something new," Thompson agreed. "Not human, not alien, but something designed purely for protection. We are humanity's guardians now, and we will remain so for as long as the galaxy needs us." On Earth, President Sarah Kim signed the final documents establishing humanity's new position in galactic affairs. The planet that had once been considered a backwater colony world was now the center of galactic power in the hidden colonies beyond known space. Human children played in parks beneath alien suns, never knowing how close they had come to extinction. They grew up in a galaxy where humanity was feared and respected, where human ships could travel anywhere without challenge. The 3 species that had chosen war over surrender were gone now. Their systems had been consumed by the nanobiological agents, their worlds transformed into strange new landscapes where matter obeyed different rules. The carriers who had sacrificed themselves for those final activations were remembered as heroes, though their names were carved on monuments to extinction rather than victory. Captain Martinez, now Admiral Martinez, commanded the human fleet. From his flagship orbiting Earth, he often looked out at the stars and wondered if they had become the monsters they had once fought against. But then he would receive reports of human colonies thriving in safety, of human children being born free from fear, and he knew the price had been worth paying. The galaxy had learned a simple lesson. Humanity could be peaceful neighbors or efficient killers, but they would never again be victims. In the depths of space, 12 remaining carriers continued their eternal watch. They were no longer fully human, but they remembered what humanity meant. They carried within themselves the power to end galactic civilization, and they bore that burden willingly. They had become gods of destruction so that their people could remain human. And in the great council chamber on Nexus Prime, A new seat sat at the center of the room. It was marked with the emblem of Earth, a simple blue and green circle representing the world that had taught the galaxy the true meaning of fear. The galaxy had a new ruler, and its name was humanity. The age of human dominance had begun, built on the foundation of acceptable losses and the willingness to embrace extinction as a weapon. It was, the historians would later write, the most effective diplomatic revolution in galactic history, and it had taken only one ship to accomplish.